In this video, I'll be going over image resizing and image cropping using a program called Irfanview. Now, the website is irfanview.com. It's a free program, and I strongly recommend it. I use it on just about every computer that I use. And if you just go to irfanview.com and click on download, you should be able to download it like from cnet.com. So you go ahead and click on the green download button, which is right here. And when you get to cnet, I'll just give the page a second to load, and you should be able to click on the download now button, which will start the download. And at this point, it's basically downloading the software, and then you don't need to do anything at this point. You can see in the bottom right corner right now it's downloaded, and then you can just go ahead and install it. So what I'm going to do right now is just talk about using the program. So they do have some tutorials on how to use it. They have an FAQ section, and you can do some learn about a few of the things you can do with the program right here, as far as maybe doing some cropping or making changes. I'll let you look through the FAQs if you want, but I'm going to just go ahead and jump right down into the tutorial. So on my machine right here, I have some sample photos, and I'm just going to talk about photos in general. Now, on each using this program, like when I double click, I've set my images open up in Irfanview, and when this loads up, you can see what the dimensions of the images are. This one at the bottom right here, it's bottom left, it says it's 420 by 315. That means it's 420 pixels wide and 315 pixels tall. So I'm going to click on the arrow to go to look at the next one, and this one is 717 pixels wide by 478 pixels tall. And the next one is even bigger. It's 900 pixels wide times 599 tall. And I'm going to go to the final one, and this is 2816 pixels wide by 2112 pixels high. Now, this image is actually bigger than the screen, and you will notice it's only displaying at 29%. So we're really not seeing the full size of the picture. So you know that this picture at 100% would be much bigger. And if you want to see the image at 100%, just keep clicking on the plus sign, and as I do that, the percentage increases. So we're seeing the image right now at 82%, and this is about 100% right here, 99%, and you can see how huge the image is. So this image is clearly too big to put on a web page, because if you put this on a web page, the user would have to scroll extensively just to see it. And as I mentioned with the other ones, likewise you can see that this is 900 by 599. Well, I'm going to go off the assumption that we need to get images that are 1024 by 768. So we have these images, and we want to take the one that is the flower and the butterfly. And let me start off by talking about resizing an image to an ideal size. Let's just say you want to take the sunflower image, the flower image, and since it's only 29% and it's this big, you want to bring it down to an ideal size of 1024 by 768. How would you do that? You'd go up to the file menu. I'm sorry, I think it's the file menu, and you would do actually it's an image menu and image resize. So you'll go to image and you image resize. Now when you go over here, you'd see the values, the 2816 by 2112, which are the original values in the bottom left corner. So you want to make sure that this box is checked, preserved aspect ratio proportional. That means when you change the value of the width, it will automatically resize the height, so that way it will keep a proper dimension ratio. So I'm going to type in the desired value of 1024. I'm going to delete that first, of course, and then type 1024. Now when I do that, it gave me the value of 768 for the height automatically. So I don't even need to do any changes to this, because this image is really ideal for our purpose. So just by doing that, I get my ideal size, desired height of 768, and I can say OK. And then at this point, I think you can just go and do a file and say save to the original folder, so it'll keep it in the same folder. And then you can just say flower dash maybe 1024, or add some numbers after each, which would help you immediately know exactly what you're saving as, so you know. So there you have it. So you have in your folder, you now have the flower 1024, which is ideal. Now let's talk about a scenario where the dimensions don't come out ideal. Let's look at this butterfly. Now this is 900 by 599. Let's just say you wanted to resize this. I'm going to go to the image and do my the image resize, then again resize resample, and I want to increase this up to 1024. Now sometimes if the image is too small and you try to do that, what happens is that if it was a very small size like 3 or 500 and you try to resize it up to 1024, you may end up with a new image where it's no longer clear because you've tried to stretch the image too big. But when I did that, the image looks clear enough, so really it wasn't a very big jump from 900 pixels to 1024. So when I do this, the new dimension that I'm looking at is 1024 times 682. But I really would like this to be 1024 by 768. But as you can see, I don't have the width of 768 here. If I can make do with this if the program will allow, but if I absolutely wanted to get an image that is 1024 by 768, this is what I would do. I would go back to image and I'll do the resize or resample, and I would go to the height. At this time, since I know, I would make the height 768, and now I have the width bigger than 1024, so I'll go ahead and say OK, and then I would crop off a portion of the image. So using the mouse, I'm just going to draw a box, and as I draw the box, I'm going to keep an eye on the values that are in the top, in the menu bar up at the top. So I'm going to stretch using the mouse. When I place the mouse over the box that I have on the screen, the mouse pointer turns to a handle, so I can draw this down, and I know I'm going to draw this all the way across to the side and all the way across. So now for the height, you can see I have my 768, but I want to drop down to 1024 because I'm working on a scenario where I absolutely want to get an image that is perfect 1024, and I'm willing to compromise losing some of the sides. So I'm going to do I'm going to just watch the values here at the top as I use the handle until I drop down to a value that's 1024. So as you see, as we draw the handles going across, I'm going to have to compromise to get to 1024. So what I could do is I could decide that I will bring this all the way across here and then stretch this across, and so I'm going to lose a little bit of the images that are on the extreme right, the butterflies that are here. But now I have 1024, so I can shrink this back down till I have something close to 1024. And sometimes it's a little tricky moving the edge of the box here until you get to 1024. Now I'm 1021, 1022, so I'm going to try to nudge it over a little bit, and I'm on 1025. So that's really very close to the 1024. So I have a 1025 by 768. So at this point, since it's just 1 pixel different, we can live with that. Or if you want to keep trying to struggle with this, let me try for a little bit longer and see if I can get an exact 1024. It takes a little dexterity with the mouse sometimes to get it, but it's jumping between 1022 and 1025 right now. Alright, so I'm going to settle for 1025, which is close enough, and at this point I would go do an edit and I would say crop selection. That means whatever's outside the box, cut it out. So I did that, and I'm on 1025 times 768. Now if I absolutely positively wanted to just lose that 1 pixel, I could either just save it and live with the 1025 times 768, or I could just go back the to the image and do a resize resample, and I would uncheck the preserve aspect ratio, and I'll just change this to 1024. When I have this unchecked, the height will not change, and say okay. And now I have an image that is a perfect 1024 times 768, and I could go ahead and say file, save to the original folder, and then I'll just call this butterfly 1024. So I hope that makes sense on what I did there with the resizing to be able to arrive at a perfect value. I had to choose between, I couldn't get using the handle when I was drawing the box. I had a problem getting to the right value, so I made a compromise. I went to 1025, and then I just went back to the image resize resample, and I just got rid of the extra 1 pixel there. And since it's just really 1 pixel, there's no distortion to the image overall. So now we have an image that is a perfect 1024 times 768. In this video, as you can see, we also covered the portion of cropping, and so let me just really demonstrate that one more time. Let's just say we wanted to crop out only this butterfly that's here. How would we do that? Very simple. You just simply draw a box using your mouse, and then just try to place it over the butterfly as best as you can. And you can see that doing that, I have something very close to just the butterfly in the box right now. I can adjust this as much as I want till I'm happy, and then I'll just go to image, edit, and I will just say crop, and basically it'll cut out everything else that's outside, and then I can just say file, save to the original folder, and I can just call this butterfly -1, which is just a single butterfly. So that's the process of cropping. Cropping is the process where you want to eliminate a portion of the image that you don't want. So you open up the image, draw a box around the area you want to keep. Let's just say you only want to keep this area here, and then you adjust the box until you're happy with the size of the box, and then you go up to edit, and you would say crop, and then of course you would need to save this as a new image. So you'll do a file, save to the original folder, and then you just type in a bird dash small, or whatever you want to call the new image. And that's basically the process of cropping. And I hope you found this tutorial useful.